Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of the United Spurs of America podcast with your hosts, as always, Michael and Jacob. Happy Friday afternoon, morning, evening, night, wherever you may be tuning in from. Thank you for joining us today on our very own YouTube channel. We got David from the Irish Hotspur joining us today, a very, very special guest. We got a lot to talk about on our plate, some good, some bad, unfortunately, and it's gonna hit home a little bit for Jacob. We'll get into it in a little bit, but first off, man, how are you doing, Jacob? How are you doing?
I'm doing lovely, Michael. Welcome. Anytime I can be here on stream with you, as I often say, is a blessing.
I already got a few people waiting in the stream. Just want to say shout out to you guys.
In the comments, yeah. Who got first place medals today is what I want to know. I don't know who did. Was it Ellie? It might have been Ellie. But I'm doing great, Michael. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that David's here. And thank you for everyone who's in the chat. I hope you're having a great Friday as well. Michael, you said some bad. There is some bad, but I don't know. When I think about Tottenham right now, I just can't stop thinking about I have an image of Harry Kane running, arms wide open, not a Creed song. Or was that Three Doors Down?
With arms wide open.
With arms wide open. Yeah.
Under the sunlight.
There you go. Welcome to this day.
Oh, hold on. I'm holding up the goat. Excuse me. I need to hold up the Tottenham goat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
there you go.
My friend Harry Kane breaking the all-time scoring record. David may say otherwise when he gets on here, but I'm saying right now on this stream that it is officially on this stream the all-time leading goal scorer for Tottenham Hotspur. But yeah, Jacob, that is something we'll get into in a little bit. But let's just go on and bring him out, man. While we're going through these comments,
yeah.
Bring him out. Hey,
bring him out.
Hey,
bring him out.
Bring him out. Bring him out.
Hey.
Come on, David. Thank you for joining us today.
Big up, David.
No worries. Thanks very much for having me. I'll raise you, Antonio Conte, my man. So
let's go.
I got my
Let's
Conte
go.
also, but he's got to stay in the package until if he walks in the summer, I'll take him out the package, but not until then anyway.
Although I am quite jealous of the Harry Kane one, I must say.
That one's sick.
I also have this one, David. It is unfortunate. It's a little bit sad, but I do have a Dele Alli one. I got both of these in New York. I went to New York in a soccer shop, and they had Harry Kane and Dele Alli there, and I was like, I have to cop. Unfortunately, they didn't have the Heung Son one. That's my next purchase for sure. But I got Messi for Christmas, so yeah, for sure.
This one?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I got the Sunny one. Yeah, that was a nice one. Got that one over the holidays. While we're saying hello to everyone, big up Mark Sheehan, big up Todd Spurs, big up Mile High Hotspur, Leo, big up Ellie with THFC Till I Die. That's a good time for me, I think, to go ahead and put the banner down below. Thank you so much to the patrons of the channel. First and foremost, thank you so much to Mr. Alan Sibley of the Soggy Undies Club. And then in the 10-inch club, we got Goguma, Mile High Hotspur, Ellie, and C. Sherman. See, I saw Leo and I saw Ellie in the chat, so I just had to start shouting them out. Official supporters, Scott M., James, Joris, Jacob, David, Jamie, and Jack Knickie. Big up yourselves, all single one of you. And then in the lovers lane, we have Bobby K, Gina Kim, Tom Markin, and Colin and C Cubed. Big up every single one of y'all. If I just read your name, your names will be scrolling below. Thank you for your contributions to the channel, and thank you to we had a recent spike in some subscribers, so big ups to the new. If you've been here for 5 minutes or you've been here the whole time, welcome to the party.
We're on the road to 1K.
Yeah, we're on the road. Thank you for hopping aboard the bus. Is it going to be a bus or is it a train? What's our
train? It's a full steam ahead, man. You either get on or you get the fuck out of the way.
That's right, yeah.
If you're on the tracks, you're getting run over.
Who's the middle of the train? I don't want to be that person.
I guess it depends on the perspective you take, you know. Some people might see that as a blessing to be in the middle, like a nice, you're tucked in between two slices of bread or something, you know. Either way, big up David Clark. This is our official Leicester City affiliate that we know. He's always in the chat supporting. So
He's
big up
always in
David
the know.
Clark.
He's got a crystal ball.
He's got the crystal
psychic.
ball. Yeah, he lives in Leicester as well. Usually he says, "Well, hello from sunny Leicester." So,
David, you should be excited every single time we play Leicester because more often than not, especially recently, we just fucking smack them, man. Like, I would be so cocky if I was you and my family, if I was the only Tottenham fan amongst Leicester City fans, because, like, yes, okay, they do have the Premier League title to always hang over our heads, but I'm telling you, man, head to head, I do not fear Leicester City at all. We always play well against Leicester City. And you know who else loves Leicester City? Not only, I'm going to give a shout out to Heung, Hyunmin Dad, the one and only Hyunmin
Patrick
son,
Daddy.
just because, you know, we love him, Jacob loves him. But Harry Kane loves playing against Leicester City. It's the team that he has the most goals against in Premier League history. So, look, man, if he scores a hat trick, don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But David,
Hey.
you got to be cocky, man, with your family. I would be big stepping it every time McGregor walking
Yeah, come
wherever
on.
I go with my family.
Come on, David Clark, get it together and showboat, baby. I know they got 2 trophies, but fuck them. Big up Alan Bennett. Big up Kuva. Good to see David on 2. He's almost as good as having a Kuva, just not quite as handsome.
I'd agree with
You know what's better is having both of them together. I think that's quite the sight. So, big up yourselves, Kuva. Thanks for tuning in. Big up Aaron Dub. Also, did I read his name because he's on the, or did I not update the banner? I might have not updated the banner.
What happened?
Aaron Dub is supposed to be. He signed up for the 10-inch club, man.
Yep.
And I messed up. So let me go ahead and put Mr. Aaron Dub.
We apologize, Aaron.
Yeah, apologies, Aaron, but I'm fixing it. I'm making it right. That was my mistake. Shout out Aaron Dub. Don't know what he's saying here to David, but good evening to you, Aaron. Thank you for being a Patreon member. If you do want to become a Patreon member as well, I pinned the link to the chat. You can click it there. It's in the description of this video. Very simple, very easy to get to. You click that, choose your club, and then you're an official supporter of this channel. And there's more to come with that. We're waiting. We're close. We're almost there. But this has been an incredible ride. So thank you so much, Aaron, for being the newest member of the 10-inch club. Big up Patty Hartnett as well. Always showing appreciation and some love. Big up Adrian Schroka. Leo saying what's up. Ellie, big up everybody. Mike, I'll throw it over to you, but I just want to say big ups to everyone if you're here. We're almost 10 minutes in. We've already dropped an F-bomb, but hey, we ain't monetized yet, so we do what we want around here.
What's new?
At least until we get them subs up.
Yep.
Enjoy it while you can, but I'm enjoying this, Michael. I just, Harry Kane, to me, he broke the record.
Do you? I know you already talked about it in your pop up with Jacob's stream earlier this week, but you want to get into favorite Harry Kane goals?
I mean, I made a whole, I had a long ass list.
I know you had a
on that
list.
shot.
I know you had a list. You were taking notes.
I was taking notes. There was too many cock rockets, too many bangers, too many.
So much
just
wetness.
Big Daddy Dong Daddy. Like I can't. I'm trying to think of the words, but I can't really explain because even if you look at his 100th goal, some people will say that was a cross. I say that's a Harry Winks pass. It's just one of those you just send it in. You don't know where it's go. Or Michael, this is a major throwback. Santiago Mosquera. That's a Santiago Mosquera. He played for FC Dallas. He had a cross. He was trying to cross it from way down. Pretty
Just
much
like
the
the one
same
that
spot.
Harry Kane had against
Yeah.
Everton.
It was just like that. That's right. That's right, Vestal. Big Daddy, Dong Daddy. I don't know what else to call it, but
much wetness.
he had it going
Moisture.
on. Number 100, I don't know why immediately comes to my mind. I like 37 as well. When he was, let me see. I got the number somewhere. I'm about to pull them up. What comes to your mind, David, off the top when we're like favorite Harry Kane goals?
I've got 2 that come off the top. One against Crystal Palace, where he put it right across.
One
the
time.
goal. That's absolutely unbelievable. But my favourite one, I have to say, is the one against Arsenal, where he cut in from the corner flag from the acute angle, bended it in top corner with the mask on as well. So iconic. Absolutely unbelievable finish. One of the best finishes I've ever seen. I still watch it to this day. It's the angle that he done it from. It's absolutely unbelievable. Plus, as well, you know, it's one that he stuck to the Gooners as well. One that I know that is imprinted in their memories as well. So definitely makes it my favourite. But bit controversial. But I disagree that he's broken the record. I'll go against the grain on this. Jimmy against, I think it was Ipswich in a Charity Shield match. That is deemed as a friendly and is not counted. But in my eyes, trophy's a trophy and it's a cup. So for me, they should have counted. And plus, I missed Harry Kane breaking the record last weekend on stream. So it's only fair that I'm there tomorrow when he does it officially.
Did Kane not score when we won the Walter Hung Award? Or the Walter Toll, excuse me. I remember I dubbed it
Walter Toll.
The Walter Hung Award.
That's pre-season friendly, cup. That's made.
And the Continental Cup against Juventus from the halfway line.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you count that?
I didn't see that one in the
well?
comp. They didn't count it, so
there's a few on Harry Kane's side too. Don't disrespect the Audi Cup either.
But
Can
really, the Audi Cup coming in clutch, 2019, never forget.
Can I just say, how fantastic was his hair when we got the close-up when he scored the goal to break the record against City? If you watched it, right, there's crosswinds all around that stadium. Yeah. And not one piece of hair moved. I was sitting on the couch watching it with the missus. I turned around to her and I was like, fuck me. I mean, do you understand now why I absolutely adore the chap? He's just perfect. I mean, the guy can sprint around and his hair's not even ruffled. It's unbelievable.
That's hilarious, David. The first thing I mean, honestly, I got chills, and then I was just watching him because I wanted to see his face. I really was just looking into his eyes, like, I need to see how he's feeling, because that's a big thing for me. When I watch sporting events, major events in sporting in general, like going into a big match or a big fight, I like to look at the walkout. I like to look at them boxers' eyes. UFC, I'm looking into their eyes, their demeanor. I mean, their body may be telling you they're jumping around, they're having a good time, but their eyes could be telling you something different. And so I'm looking at his eyes, and every time I watched the 267 back, it was just, I don't think he even believed it was happening. It looked like he was just going through the motions, and then it kind of hit him later on in the celebration. But I think that's what stood out for me most when that happened. And then obviously just it was one of those, I'm thankful, you know where you were when this happened kind of thing. In 5-10 years, I guess, for you, David, it may be after he scores another couple goals, but whenever he does that, I just think it's special. When I look back at some of the goals, Michael, to answer your earlier question, I have a shit ton that I wrote down these were just ones I stood out while I felt like I was being picky, and it turned out to be my top 37, which ironically was his first number for Tottenham. So I'm pretty proud of that serendipitous moment.
I have them all. 37, 18, 10, you name them. I got them.
But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time going through some of those goals. But really, if you look at the goals from the beginning to the end, he just became a complete player. The beginning, it was like breakaways, long, it almost looked like a couple of them were offsides, but I think it was like number 47 was the first one I noted, 31, 52 was when he started dunking on them, 56 was the Arsenal mask goal that David said was his favorite one. Then the list just goes on and on from there. There's a few that I have some nice notes for, like his 89th goal said, "Get the fuck off me, little boy." I mean, a lot of notes like that, like dunked on, posterizer. He made this man cry. This man's family called him after the game type of damage that he just did. Because honestly, there was some nice ones. And then there's also like number 140, I'm trying to think, I think that might have been against Wolves or something, and he juked someone and then he shot the ball and it was a curler. I think it was against Barcelona, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm mixing them up, because honestly they start to look similar after a while whenever he takes it onto his left foot, stops, and then picks it back up with his right foot, and that always gets the defense, either they stop or they keep going forward. Then he'll just curl it into the far post, or he'll just take it into the near post if they stand still. So honestly, What a man. It's just 45 minutes of goals. To me, that's a shit ton of time to just be scoring. And they weren't showing replays, you know what I mean? It was just back to back to back. So, pretty special guy.
Yeah, I think for me, especially early on, it was two of the goals because it was in the same game, but one of the goals was his first against Chelsea New Year's Day 2015, when we won 5-3 at the Lane. And it was the first time when, in my Tottenham fandom, it was the first time where I truly felt like we were on the same level as the big teams in the Premier League. Like we were, this is our level now. Like we're here, and we were very young, so it was like we're here and we're here to stay, because we're only going to get older, we're only going to grow more experienced, and obviously back then the hope was, we're hopefully going to win some trophies along the way. But that night against Chelsea, it was outside the box, muscled off two defenders outside the box, and then beat Courtois to his right in the bottom hand corner. It was absolutely class. And then, David, you already mentioned it, but the curler against Arsenal, I'll never forget watching that and just being in awe and just screaming at the top of my lungs. One of the other ones was his Dortmund goal at Wembley, when he shoved off, I think it was Sahin or someone, I forget who the defender was, muscled him out of the way, near post, was an absolute rocket. And then you also mentioned it, David, one of my absolute favorite ones, but I think it's overlooked because it was during the pandemic and there was no fans, so it wasn't as remembered. But his first time hit against Crystal Palace was absolutely phenomenal. That was one. If we're talking about technique and just like pure world class, just technique and finishing, that might be his best goal like all time. If you're just talking that, emotional is probably Arsenal. Sentimental for me is that goal against Chelsea, just because, like I said, it was the first time where I truly felt like, all right, we're here and we're here to stay. And Harry Kane is here also. I think that was another thing, is that was his like first goal, and I think he even admitted it in his interview that they did, looking back at all of his goals, where he said that was like my first time scoring against a big club and like feeling like, all right, I got this. Like I'm going to be here for a long time. And, the other thing that gets mentioned a lot with Harry Kane, and the thing that gets me all the time, and I think I overlook it a lot just because you kind of get complacent. Well, not complacent, but you kind of take him for granted every now and again, just because he's always there. He's super consistent. Like you can never be like, fuck, Harry Kane, he's starting again. Like I don't think you ever say that when he's in the lineup. His consistency and just every season going back at it. And the one player that I also think of when I think of Harry Kane's consistency is Dele Alli, because it was the exact opposite. Dele Alli was on top of the world, and if he would have just had that consistency, and if he wouldn't have been complacent with where he was headed and where he had already reached, he wouldn't have tumbled all the way down back to rock bottom. But for me, Harry Kane, just world class, my favorite player of all time. One of the players that I will forever talk to my children, grandchildren. God forbid, if I ever talk to my great-great-grandchildren, he will be the one player where if they're ever interested in the game of soccer/football, I watched Harry Kane from the first time that he burst onto the scene till the day he retires, hopefully in a Tottenham shirt. I was there to witness Harry Kane. I was there to witness history. And hopefully in the future, please God, some trophies along the way.
In a Tottenham kit.
I hope so. Bit of Harry Kane trivia for you guys. Who was Harry Kane's first ever Tottenham goal against?
It was in the Europa League, right?
Yeah, Europa League.
I forget the club.
Shamrock Rovers, Irish team.
Shamrock Rovers. I was like, I just looked at a graphic.
I always forget the competition, I always forget the opposition, but I'll never forget that it was the Europa League.
I saw a graphic before the show, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Shamrock Rovers was his first. I just didn't
Yeah.
It didn't stick. I guess what Ludogorets, or was that one of them? Ludogorets was his 200s.
Yeah, in the Conference League.
Yeah, that's right.
The Conference. God damn. It was in the Conference League.
I wanted to win that Conference League trophy so bad, actually. Patty and Aaron Dub checking in big points for Aaron Dub and Patty Hartnett.
We lost on Thanksgiving, right? Because I remember going to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving, and we lost, right? Wasn't it on Thanksgiving when we lost to Mura? Or who? No, it wasn't Mura. Who did we lose to in the Conference League? Jesus,
We lost
like
to
a fever dream.
Dinamo Zagreb.
That was the Europa League. That was Europa League.
That's hard
That
to
was
keep
just
up
as
with.
disappointing. That was probably more disappointing.
Pacos
because it was-
Ferreira. We lost to Pacos, and then they trolled
That
us.
wasn't an elimination game, though, right? Or was it? Did
We
lose
didn't
to
make it out the
Pacos?
group. We didn't make it out the group, right?
No. Because remember, they took that last game off us against
That's right.
Rennes.
That's right. So
Because
it was
we had
just
too
the
much
last
COVID,
group game
yeah.
that we played was on Thanksgiving, Jacob.
Yeah, that was
Never forget
atrocious.
that
That
one.
was a mockery. I remember being so pissed because we had too many people with COVID, and they just were like, "Well, you're gonna take a 3-0 loss." And honestly, you could argue. I think I remember at that point, Michael, you and I were going back and forth about it shouldn't even be. You should be in a point where okay, that's fine. I'll take the 3 because this is if you look at that group. We're the largest club out of everyone in that group. I can't even remember. It was
Largest club in
Pacos
the
Ferreira.
competition.
I can't even remember all their names. I had to look a lot of them up. I was very green behind the
We all
ears
did, yeah.
about them, and it's just like we should win that group. We should have been in a position where okay, we could lose that last game by default because we have too much COVID, no problem. I think there's an argument there anyway.
The sickening thing over that, though, boys, was that the Premier League wouldn't allow us, I think it was actually that Leicester game, to postpone it so we could play the Rennes game. But yet, they allowed Arsenal to move a game so that they could play one of their Europa League games. I think it wasn't against Feyenoord recently. And the reason why that's allowed to happen is because David Dean is involved, who used to be heavily involved in Arsenal. It's an absolute joke. To be fair, we got rolled by the Premier League
Wow.
on that occasion. Absolutely rolled. Look, how hard did Tottenham push? I don't think we'll ever know. But from the outside, we got absolutely rolled.
Yeah.
And it just suits my narrative that everybody hates Tottenham. And I love it.
But see, do you think I saw some quote, but I feel like it could have been just some bogus image of a referee and a quote that someone typed out from their computer in their mom's basement. But it said something about like referees having a bias and that all referees know it within the refereeing, that they're all aware that they're biased and that sometimes they pull cars or they make calls certain ways. I don't know. There's that to me. I feel like it is what it is. They should be non-partial, and when it comes to refereeing a match, it's just. I think back when we think about that subject, my immediate thought is against Man City. That third, I think it was the third official or the fourth official. Excuse me. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Pat." When Kane hit that game winner in stoppage time, and you see the clip, he's like, both him and Pep at the same time are like, "Oh man," and he's like, he looks like he wants to go give him a hug because he's like, it's gonna be okay. But that, I don't know, Michael. What do you think?
What do I think about what?
Refereeing. Do you think there's an obvious bias towards Tottenham?
It's ass.
Well,
Yeah.
it's asked to a lot of people though. I've seen
For me, I think that there's just like Tottenham bias everywhere. Like everyone hates Tottenham for some reason, and I didn't realize it until maybe like a year into my fandom, and it was just because we weren't. I don't think we were good enough to be able to like. I don't know, for me to notice it as much, but Jesus Christ, man, when it hit me that everyone hates Tottenham, and I was like, damn, everyone hates Tottenham. That's just me though. That's just me though. Like everyone
in the last City game, though, boys. Like for the first, maybe 20, 25 minutes, the referee was so biased, it was unbelievable. You know, he's giving City decisions, and I'm like, that just happened to Tottenham literally 2 minutes ago, and you just wave play on. I mean, look, the standard of refereeing is absolutely joke, but it's something that me and Jack are especially Jack. You know, we got absolutely mad about because you're seeing decisions not given to Tottenham, but then given the other way around. I mean, we got the first booking against Man City there the other day, and it's like, I mean, 2 or 3 of their players took us down on the counter. Not one yellow card, but yet then the first chance he gets to issue Tottenham one, he gave it. And look, I know some people are going to say, you know, is it because you're a Tottenham fan and when you watch other games you're not invested either way, so you don't maybe see the mistakes? But I don't think that's the case. I genuinely do look at Tottenham games. As you know, we do watch longs for every single game, and I'm disgusted by the officiating, to be honest with you. I think it's an absolute joke in the Premier League. Hopefully your man that's come back from the Middle East. What's his name? I can't remember, the refereeing guy. But he's coming back to give the Premier League an overhaul and the referees an overhaul. So hopefully he kicks their ass into gear.
Well, I'm curious who that is. I've never heard that, so that actually gives me a little bit of hope, David. Thank you for that, because I think it's the same too. Like during the matches, I kind of always had this mindset in any sport that I've played. It should not come down to the refereeing. It should come down to what, like, yes, they can hold you back. Yes, they can alter things to make it harder for you to do your job. But at the end of the day, to me, you got to take it out of the referee's hands. You got to take it out of the referee's hands, put it in your hands. Big up Jack and Nicky. He's talking about the poll, which there is a poll going if you haven't already. Please do hit that like. Please do participate in the poll. We got the poll going. It says the outlook on our season. And the first option is optimistically moist, meaning the FA Cup and top 4, that we can win it. We may be lucky, top 4 or FA, but not both. That's a maybe lucky. And then we suck, but maybe top 6 finish. That's it. And then the fourth option, which is a sad option, is I'm down bad. We will finish 6th to 10th, which luckily no one here today has voted that. The winner right now is optimistically moist. So the vibe in the room is very pleasant right now. The water is warm. Everyone is dipping their toes in. We're having a good time here. Adam Cahill in the house. He's moist too.
I have a feeling we're gonna get one, not both.
You think one? Which one do you think? And not
Hopefully
which one do you
FA
want?
Cup.
Yeah, I know. We all want a FA Cup. I want a FA Cup so bad.
That would be so special, man. To see Harry Kane lift the FA Cup.
And
Heung-min Son, come on, like seeing them lift it together. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son.
Oh my God.
I would
wetness, moisture all over.
Fun fact for you guys. Antonio Conte's last season at Chelsea finished 5th, won an FA Cup. Looks like it's his last season at Tottenham. We're in 5th. We're deep in the FA Cup. Who knows?
Hey,
imagine.
And the pathway has never been easier. They've been making it.
Would you be happy with that, David?
Huh?
5th in an FA Cup. Would you be happy with that?
Look, I'll be honest. I don't like being out of the Champions League because for me, growing up, as a kid watching Tottenham, all I'd done was watch United, Liverpool, and that in the Champions League, and I always wanted to be there one day, and I always remained the faith that Tottenham would grow and be able to get into the Champions League one day. So I don't really like sacrificing Champions League. But look, for me, Tottenham is our football is all about winning trophies. It's all about lifting trophies, and I would sacrifice 1 year without Champions League because we'll get it again next year. To win that FA Cup, because let's be honest, that high road down Tottenham, it's been a long time since it's had a parade, and it needs one. The fans need it, and the whole club needs it just to settle down and hopefully use it as a springboard to kick on with. So for me, look, I want to try and wrestle back the FA Cup record. Arsenal overtook us in recent years. I want to try and wrestle that back. So for me, I would take it. Would I be happy with it? Yeah, I'll be happy with the FA Cup. I wouldn't be happy about top 4. But look, sometimes you've got to give a little to gain a little, don't you?
Yeah, I'm of the mindset I would be totally warm and cozy at night, so happy if we won the FA Cup, finished in 6th. I'm fine with that. I mean, hell, they're probably gonna next year let 8th and 9th get Europa, some new Europa competition they'll come up with. So I'm not really too worried about Champions League, because my thought was the Champions League was supposed to pull these players from, like, your dream players, your Hakimis, your Gvardiols, these guys that you couldn't get otherwise. To me, it still seems like no one wants to come here unless we, overpay for them. So I just don't know the draw and attention that I know it makes a club money, so like that's a good thing. But I guess Conference League would make some money for the winning the FA Cup is a little bit of money, but I think it would go far in this fan base to kind of like pacify things a little bit, like. The whole 1 cup in 22 years. Okay, but we just won the FA Cup is what we could say, Plus, like Michael said, I just want to see fucking Harry Kane and Heung Daddy lifting that trophy and smooching on it, leaving little streaks on it, and little kissy marks. And then me, I could come behind it and maybe give it a smooch too. Who knows? It would be a good time. So
at least let me pour some water on him or something.
let me drink something out of it. Who knows? It's just. It's the celebration. I just want to see the scenes. We saw some very fun scenes. Norwich away locker room when Sonny won the Golden Boot. It was a good time. Everyone's having a good time. It was a lot of fun. When we qualified for Champions League round of 16, a lot of fun going on in the locker room. So I just want to see that. We deserve it. Kane deserves it. Son deserves it. Hugo deserves it. I mean, he already won he won a World Cup, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I would be content if we. So like, I'll go back to the question I posed to you, David. Fifth place, but an FA Cup win. I would be obviously like ecstatic, over the moon, happy with an FA Cup, just because I would love to see it. But not getting, but if it sacrificing not getting top 4, I think I would be content with the result. Like, not thrilled, not happy, like not overjoyed. But I'm still going to be there at the end of the season and be like, you know what? We still got an FA Cup, man. Like, we won a trophy. That's more success than we've had in the last, 15 years. So
here's the
I'll
thing.
be content. I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'll take it.
But here's the thing. You only really sort of remember trophies. Yeah, you remember the odd nights in Europe. You'll obviously always remember the Champions League final. But, I remember more the Carabao Cup win, or the World Cup win, or whatever you wanted to call it back then, under Juan de Ramos, than what I do half the European nights we've been involved in, especially in Europa League and the Conference League, even some of the Champions League games.
I'm telling you, man, I can't remember half of those Conference League games. Like, it's a fever dream, and it's just because it was the Conference League. Like, we didn't give two shits at the end of the day. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, but trophy is what you'll always remember, though. You're like, anytime it's mentioned, anytime you see the year, you'll always remember where you were. It'll always be imprinted in your brain. Trust me, as soon as we win, you boys will be straight out down to your local, absolutely living it up, spraying champagne everywhere, making it rain with $20 bills. So, I'll enjoy the trophy.
God, man, Dave, you always got such good vibes when you come here on the channel. I just want to say thank you for that. I did star this comment from maybe 15 minutes ago. I am reading the comments, just not trying to disrupt the conversation too much. But I am thankful for all the comments, so I will be seeing them. If y'all got some good questions, I'll pull them up too. But Hotspur says, guys, what do you make of these Ben Foster rumors to be a backup for Forster? Is there a problem with Alfie Whiteman, or Brandon Austin to be his backup? What do you say to our youngsters pushing for a look?
That was the first question that I asked myself.
Wow.
when I saw the news. I was like, what's wrong with Brandon Austin or Alfie Whiteman? What's going on?
I can understand it though, boys. It's like, look, Alfie Whiteman, his experiences out in the Swedish league, he's not good enough. Brandon Austin hasn't had too much exposure to first-team football. I think his last low move was MLS.
And that's the problem. But that's the problem.
MLS is growing, they're just not good enough to be backups. It's just that simple. And at the end of the day, look, our youth system, our youth structure, the players coming through is a massive problem. It needs to be overhauled, looked at, the whole shebang. But simply, Austin and Whiteman, they're just not good enough. They're not at the right level. And as for Ben Foster, I'm a bit dubious on this one, because I would question his motive, really, if you want me to be honest, because I actually listen to the Ben Foster podcast every single week. And he actually didn't have to retire this season. He chose to. He had the option to go to Newcastle as their third choice goalkeeper. And he said this on his own podcast. He was given an absolutely unbelievable contract. He threw a number out there that he didn't think Newcastle would give him, because he wanted to sort of retire, concentrate on the podcast and his family and stuff like that.
Hell yeah, come on the pod if you're listening, Foster.
He came back and gave him the offer, and he turned it down because he didn't really want to continue on. So if he does come back, look, I think he'll still be in decent shape because he loves cycling and stuff like that. But I would question is his heart in it, and for me, I think it's a dodgy one.
My thought here is, if you watch any of the pregame stuff, I know you got a million things going on pregame, Dave, but Tottenham Spurs play. They used to do it on Twitter, but now it's on Spurs play. They have like a pregame live thing where they're like talking in front of the players warming up. I literally put it on, and then I have you on audio, and then I have it watching just so I can see the field and see what's going on. Because I used to work for the Dallas Cowboys, and when I worked there, I had to be, if a game started, I had to be there 6 hours before the game started. So I was always on the field watching warm-ups, just watching formations, watching what are we warming up like, because that's going to be, and obviously I can't see much from the little bit that they do show, but you know what I do see? I see Brandon Austin out there warming up every single home game. He travels with the team. So to me, what kind of message does that send to the youth if it's like, okay, Big Papi Heung goes down, next up is the backup that we signed. Well, then who's after that? Maybe the guy who's warming up with him, but what's the matter with him being on the bench? At least let him be on the bench. Maybe you sub him in if we're winning against one of these lower tier teams. I'm going to say lower tier team, one of these teams we should expect to get full 3 points from. If we're winning 4-0 versus Leicester, West Ham, throw him on for 10 minutes. Let him get that experience, Dave. That's my thought, because at least if anything, it's like to me, it'd be more of a rallying cry for the other youth. Like, hey, so all it needs is someone to go down, and then that other person, to either slip up, go down themselves, or the team be doing so well that I get a shot now. I think we saw it with who's that? Harvey White? Is that who we had? Someone got some minutes with us that have been playing with the U21s.
Harvey White.
Alfie Devine.
Harvey White. No, Alfie Devine surprisingly hasn't, which I've heard a lot of good things about.
Oh no, yeah, it was Harvey White. Never mind.
I think it was Harvey White. Yeah, and to me, that's just. I thought that was positive. I don't think he's anywhere near ready. His head looks way too big for his shoulders, but. What kind of message does that send if we don't at least let Brandon Austin ride the bench while Heung goes down? I don't think we need to sign another veteran. We don't need another veteran keeper in the fucking locker room. We got enough. We got Hugo. We got Forster. That's good. Let the kids learn. At some point, you got to throw them in the pool and let them swim.
Here's the thing, though, Jacob. For me, I think the indication of either of them not being good enough, because they're not exactly young, right? I think they're like 22, 23.
They're middle-aged now, kind of mid-20s.
They're not young,
I think, is 22, and
they don't really have many relative top flight experience, which means other people outside of Tottenham don't really rate them either. But what told me they weren't good enough is bringing in Galini, getting rid of him, and then bringing in Fraser Forster when you have these guys, hanging around the club. So for me, it just points to that they're not good enough. People around the club recognise they're not good enough. Look, Brandon Austin, Alfie Whiteman, I think, they're hanging on at Tottenham. I think they probably like the idea of being at Tottenham, but...
So why are we paying them if we're never going to use them for anything? We can blame the
club on this, though, boys, but have they pushed for moves themselves to get out and get on loan, or have they just been too comfortable?
Well, I mean, if you're Brandon Austin, you're probably sitting here thinking, okay, I'm warming up with the team. I'm in the stadium every day with the team. I'm training with the team every day. And not in the stadium, but when every game day that's at home, he's in the stadium. He's warming up. I've seen it.
Didn't he play a preseason friendly and make a mistake?
Was that White? I thought that might have been Whiteman.
Didn't Austin play on the Korean?
No, Austin did. No, Austin definitely played. Yeah.
In the Korean game.
On the Korean tour, the Korean tour.
Yeah, they scored on him, right? They scored on him.
But I think he made a mistake.
It was a free kick, I think.
Did he not? Correct me if I could be wrong, but I thought he made a mistake.
I could be wrong too. I don't remember exactly, but I mean, this guy's not going to play. Like the whole thing you mentioned, we got Galini, we got now Forster. I mean, yeah, I think that's solid because our captain is going to expect it to play. We expect him to play. So I think, signing a efficient backup, I wouldn't feel comfortable with Austin or Whiteman being my backup going into a season. But, I mean, if we're going to be, 6-8 weeks without our captain, why not let him ride the bench?
I think he will ride the bench. One of them will ride the bench for sure. They won't go into the game without having someone there. But look, whether they get minutes or not, I don't think so.
Here's my problem, though, is they have been this way for the past several years, right? Fringe goalkeepers not good enough to be the backup. They just haven't been. And you mentioned it, David. They had to bring in Golini. Before we realized he was shit. He left, and they had to bring in Fraser Forster as a backup. But how many years before that even also was that the case? Michel Vorm was the backup for so long. Then
Gazzaniga.
and then after that was Gazzaniga. Like, for me, if we know and if the club have known that they are not good enough, and for some reason, if they haven't identified, and I don't know how they haven't already, that they're not going to be good enough to ever either crack the 11 or at least be a solid, reliable backup goalkeeper. 1A, why are they still here? But why haven't we scouted for like a young, promising, up-and-coming goalkeeper to swap in their place to at least get some minutes out on loan and then develop them even more? Why haven't we secured guys like that? Like, why aren't we making those signings in other areas too? Like, it's just so bad when you think about it, because it's so much worse than we realize, because the scouting department has been so bad for the last few years. The academy has been bad in terms of players cracking the 18, let alone the 11 in the last few years. It's bad right now. It really is.
Oh, it's bad.
But like, look, they were rumored to be interested with Bissouma before he moved to Southampton. I mean, all they had to do was come and ask me. I could have told them how good that guy is. You know, he's Ireland's #1 goalkeeper above Queven Kelleher, who, you know, is Liverpool's backup goalkeeper. His distribution is absolutely out of this world. It's as good as Ederson's. Great reflexes, good shot stopper. And, you know, we dropped the ball on it. We should have went and got him. But, look, they also brought in another young Irish goalkeeper, Josh Keeley from St. Pat's, who he's very highly rated over here.
He's actually looked good in the academy games I've seen.
He's good with his feet. He's good with his feet.
He makes himself look big, and I think that's a good thing for a young keeper, is to have the prowess in the box to make yourself big, because that goes a long way in getting in the forward's head, in my opinion.
But again, look, we don't know whether he's good enough or not. At the end of the day, he's brought in. Let's see what he does. But look, to answer to kind of you know, maybe retort on your point there a little bit, Mike, my man. I mean, look, they did bring in Josh Keeley, so there is room for them guys to go out alone. But Jack makes a good point in the comments there. Like, you know, you would expect players like Sanchez and, you know, look, especially like Alfie Whiteman, Brandon Austin, knowing that there's no pathway to the first team for them, to move away. But the reality is they don't. They're happy with being at Tottenham. Because I tell you what, I'm not sure what their wages are, Alfie Whiteman and Austin's. But I guarantee you, wherever they move to, they're going to be cut in half, if not a third. So, you know, there's a financial incentive for these guys to hang on.
Also, think about the chefs, because
Me too, Alan. I was thinking the same thing when you said that, Jacob.
Definitely
like,
big
hey,
up, Alan. There's another thing. I mean, think about those facilities. I remember part of the hardest reason for me to walk away from my job with the Cowboys was they just got these brand new facilities, these 5-star chefs cooking me 3 meals a day. I mean, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, my work, I was disgruntled. I didn't, necessarily see eye to eye with a lot of the people I worked with. I'm kind of in between two departments, so it's like I was really not happy. But what kept me on was like, hey, I'm fed. I'm paid decent enough. Hell, I'm kind of comfortable, and I can understand as a footballer how, you know what, I'm just gonna ride this out. I'm fine with this. I hope that's not the case, man, because if you're in the building, they give you a fucking jersey number. To me, if I had a jersey number, I'm working my ass off 24/7. Everything I'm doing every minute of the day is to further progress my game, and that's what's disappointing about Delhi. If that's the case with these keepers and with the other people we got just, creating mildew in our academy, I mean, then it's probably a good thing that we don't have them coming through, because I don't want another Winks just fucking riding the bench and then liking a Pep Guardiola tweet after he fucking came back and beat us 4-2. I don't like shit like that, I'll tell you that much. Well, fuck you, Harry Winks. If you're watching this, fuck you.
Yeah, I agree. But look, I do think Mike has a point. To be fair to the guys, the likes of a Whiteman and an Austin, this is where I do agree with Mike. These youngsters' pathway to the first team is blocked. You look at how many we've got out on loan. How much shit do we still have as backups? There's no way to the first team for these guys, because we're trying to in games. Look, where I grew up, that traditionally you would see some players coming back from injury mixed with some youths, and you'd slap some of these teams 4-5-0. Early rounds of the Cup, early rounds of the Europa League, stuff like that. But what have we had to do? We've had to play a Davies, a Dyer, a Sanchez, all these shit people that offer absolutely nothing to Tottenham. And then when you go out in these games, and then we wonder why we've been knocked out. But they just don't have the motivation for this club. Now, I know Dyer and Davies have people are going to tell me they've kicked on. They haven't. They're still liable to mistakes. You know, Dyer's mistakes, if he didn't make them, we'd probably be sitting there, you know, in a title challenge right now. So... But, you know, Mike's right. There is no pathway to the first team. But how can there be? If we brought all them players back on loan, people talk about how big Chelsea's squad is. How big would ours be bringing all them 11 players back on loan? You're talking about probably, 32, 33 players? And that's insane. Yeah, I actually feel sorry for that guy we signed from Chelsea. What's his name? Mr. Sunshine Shop or whatever you want to call him. Soup. I can't remember his name. Bella. But, look, you know, that guy. He actually left Chelsea because there was no pathway for the first team. I'm kind of sitting there, I'm like, I mean, who told that guy porcupines? Because there's no way to the first team for him at either. You know what I mean?
Oh, that striker, he's kind of tall.
That's Troy Parrott out on loan. Got Dane Scarlett out on loan.
Yeah.
It's not like they play anyways because Harry Kane plays every game anyways, but...
that's what we got with Richarlison.
Well, you know, who's also a striker. They brought him in for the under-21s. So even if that guy, right, you've got Harry Kane ahead of you, Richarlison. If Harry Kane leaves, you're obviously going to sign someone else. Then you've got Parrott and Scarlett out on loan, and then you've also got Will Lancher there. Where's his pathway to the first team? Who lied to him?
His agent must
might need to transition to the wing.
Or be like do Kane's. But see, my thing is, I think as Kane naturally gets older, he's gonna drop back more and provide more service, right? Yeah. Or he's gonna strictly just stay forward because he's gonna be a goal hungry monster, which I'm cool with either or, honestly, because then at that point, okay, let's go get a Cams that can feed him service, or let him kind of drop back into there and let Richarlison go to work because we know he does well down the middle. But big up Chris says, Jacob, did you see Pep Guardiola taking a dig at Levy in his press conference? Did you see that, Michael?
Yeah.
What did he say? I think he just said, like, you need to look at other teams, look at other chair people in the Prem that are trying to blame him or something.
I was mad at both of them this morning just because, like, I'm just getting annoyed at Pep at this point because of how much he's talking out of his ass at these press conferences. He's talking about complaining of having to travel from Manchester to London when, dude, like, come on, man.
Come on.
A fucking river. Jesus Christ. Get it together. But look, and then on top of it, the financial statements come out, and Levy makes his own statement about, and then more reports come out today too, guys, about how Levy is upset at Pep, or he's upset at City for inflating the market and Chelsea for inflating the market. When, dude, I'm just mad. I'm just mad at everyone at this point. I'm mad at Levy. I'm mad at Pep. They're both annoying. Like.
Pep moans about travelling from Manchester to London. That's a guy that gets on a private jet and flies home to Catalonia every chance he gets. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. But, you know, we live rent-free in Pep's head. Absolutely rent-free, you know.
I still can't believe they haven't scored in our stadium. Yeah. They're like the only team that hasn't, I swear. Everyone else does.
Take that. I mean, hold that fucking L, Pep.
Newcastle have beat us multiple times at our place. Arsenal have now beat us at our place. Southampton has beat us multiple times at our place. There are bad teams that have beat us at our place too. There are bad teams. Didn't we lose to Watford too at home? I forget. But
no,
there have been some bad
extra time header.
That was away. But there have been some bad teams that have come in and beat us at home. And somehow, some way.
They haven't even scored.
They haven't scored. They haven't scored.
That's actually an insane stat when you think about the fact since we've been in that stadium.
They've gotten, and none of them have been draws either. We've always beat them. None of them were draws.
To me. So Pep, keep crying. We're drinking the tears. I'm actually using it as lubricant right now. So the more you can provide, the better, because there's no Adama Traore. But if Pep's crying, it's just as good as, in my opinion, because You've rattled him. He's rattled. He's in the mud, quite frankly, in my opinion, because of where he's having to come out.
He's got to get back on the horse so he can win a title.
It's coming to an end, that City for him. He's
But
rattled.
I think it's it. We gotta hope
he's gotta
we just
get back
gotta
on the
hope
horse, man.
Arsenal. We just gotta hope Arsenal falls and that we can get a good run at things. United get somebody, because I don't think City's gonna do it. Think about how much he's had to talk about this in press conferences. Think about it. Talk with the owners. He's not spending as much time doing that about football. I think that's naturally going to take away from the game. I think their game's going to suffer because of all the distractions. That's just my opinion. Do y'all think that? Do y'all think that we'll see City struggle because of all these distractions?
Look, I'll be honest, I hope not, because I'm banking on them at least beating Arsenal to the league title to do all of us a favour. But look, you've got to look at it. Cancelo leaving out of the blue. Diaz riding the bench, De
Bruyne.
De Bruyne riding the bench. I mean, look, there's something not right there. I reckon there's been probably a bit of a split in the camp. You look at maybe the judgment of letting Jesus go. Could have done with him this season. Sterling, Sané, a bit of pace for them out wide. People running in behind that maybe City could probably benefit from this season. Look, I'll be honest. I think his time's coming to an end at City. I really do believe it. I don't think they'll sack him. I think they'll probably give him the courtesy of maybe walking, because of what he's done for the club. But there's something not right there.
Yeah, there's definitely trouble in paradise. I think the same thing would happen, but with Klopp first, at least. I don't know if because he sounds like he's committed still. Pep does.
For some reason, I've been feeling the way you're feeling about Pep, David, with how I've been feeling about Klopp. Now that you mention it, Jacob, just because I don't know, man. I know that they're all about commitment with Klopp, and Klopp always says like, "Oh, I love Liverpool, and I know, I have the backing and security or whatever." But I don't know, man. With the way things are going, and like just the feeling around Liverpool, for some reason, there's that weird lingering feeling in the back of my head that it's like, I could kind of see Klopp like leaving at the end of the season or something happening,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Liverpool and City, I don't know. You're kind of getting on something, David.
When you look at both of them teams, though, right? They've been absolutely helter-skelter, relentless, giving every ounce of energy over a 4 or 5 year period. And there's only so long your body can go at that intensity for. And when you look at both teams, they haven't done enough in the midfield areas, and that's where they're lacking. They're still persisting with the same midfielders, same as Liverpool. The midfielders getting old, can't keep up with the intensity in the Premier League. They're getting broke on more than they ever have done before because that midfield protection isn't there. You look at Man City, the same thing. They haven't really done enough to upgrade that midfield area, and they're also getting exposed and played through the middle. I've never seen City dominated through the middle like the way we dominated them. And I think there's something to do with that, I do. I believe it's something that they haven't done enough in the midfield, which is the heart of your team. It's the backbone of your team and the driving force. I would look into that a bit more.
Was it Big Ball Stellini maybe? Because, I mean, honestly, this man, the way he was talking in the press conference, I was listening to it while I made breakfast the other morning a couple of days ago. And he was talking about, me and Ryan, we decided let's change this up and it'll shut down, I think Silva he was talking about. And whatever he talking about, it worked. So to me, whether it's Conte at the helm, I think he's made the beast that we are. It doesn't matter who's driving the boat at this point. We've already got the boat. So that was a really nice sight as well for me. I just think, God, Michael, you want to get into the bad stuff? Is it time to talk about the bad stuff before we do the official preview?
Let's
yeah, get a drink for that.
I just wanted to say also, wanted to give a shout out. I know Ellie was in the chat earlier, but I want to give him his flowers because the Lord knows that I was hard on him when he was playing like shit every now and again. But Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, once again, man, putting on a good performance against City. I'll say it. He had the assist to Kane. He assisted Kane's 267th goal, but I thought he was pretty good on Sunday, man. Along with Emerson Royale, I also want to give him a shout out before we get to the bad stuff. But those two, man, they had some pretty good games. Dyer wasn't terrible, whatever, but I still don't like him.
Because you mentioned Emerson Royale, I did want to touch on the fact that I was watching the comp that Tottenham Hotspur on Twitter dropped.
Yeah.
everyone going on and on about Rico Lewis.
Do you see
Watch
his
out for
no-look
Rico
pass?
Lewis.
Do you see his no-look pass to Kane?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's got it in the bag, bro. If Emerson's putting you on the comp, how good can you? I don't want to take anything away from Emerson. I'm more curious. Like, I heard so many things about this Lewis kid. Oh, he's like their next big academy thing. I mean, give him time. He's a young kid. I'm not trying to bash him, trying to say he ain't shit. But I just find it quite humorous and quite entertaining that Emerson put his ass on. Hey, if you get put on the comp,
him and Grealish too. Grealish was in Emerson's pocket all day, man. Grealish didn't do anything. I think he had maybe 1 or 2 chances all game. Other than that, Emerson played pretty good.
Yeah, it was nice. It was
pretty good. And I know that he did get a red card, but dude, Romero was massive against Man City, especially putting that challenge on Erling Haaland early on, getting that yellow card, but just letting him know, yeah, I'm here, baby. I'm here
that's actually a good
12-inch dong, and I'm ready to stick it up your ass. And look what happened. What happened. No shots at all for the first time.
That's actually something I want to bring up real quick because I was watching a couple other channels. I'm not going to shout them out because they haven't responded to their comments, but they were talking about they thought it was idiotic and stupid of Romero. Like, how could he be so dumb? He's so rash, and that first challenge, he came out of nowhere. Hell yeah, he came out of nowhere. You know why he came out of nowhere? Because he's Romero, and he's here, he's there, he's every fucking where. So at the end of the day, he's a great defender that, to me, I don't want to put the shackles on. Yeah, he got the red. The second one was a little bit of a veteran cheekiness from Jack Grealish. If you watch it, you see Jack Grealish, he kind of stick that leg out there a little bit so he made contact. Yes, he shouldn't have put his foot out there, but Jack Grealish made sure that they made contact. That's just a veteran move. He got caught out with it, but he got cheered. I think everyone kind of felt in that moment like I did, like he's put in a shift, a hell of a shift. Like you said, 0 shots on target for the man bun. That's amazing. This guy, he's...
Here's the thing though, boys, right? Everyone makes a big deal out of Romero's rashness. How many red cards has he got since he arrived at Tottenham? Let's be fair.
One. It was that was the first one.
This is the thing, Mike. You know, everyone's always worried about Romero. He's going to get a red card, but people need to understand you can't take that aggressiveness away from Romero because he's not. He's going to end up being half the player. We also need to understand. We sat here for 3 years begging for a no-nonsense defender who would take people out if needed. And at the end of the day, people can moan about the challenge on Haaland all they want. I absolutely loved it. You know, I went back and watched it that night and had a wank to it. It was my fault.
Yeah, David. Come on.
Unbelievable. It cutting down the size. But, like, people need to understand, this is what Romero does. Whoever he's up against, whoever the striker is, he clatters them. I was at West Ham with Jacko. What did he do to Mikel Antonio? Clattered him in the first few minutes. The guy didn't want to know. Every time the ball came near and Romero was around him, he wanted to get rid of it. He did not want to know with Romero. He barely stood over on his side at all. You go back to, I think it was Newcastle last season. St. Maximum took him out in the first 2 minutes. The guy didn't want to know. Has to be taken off.
He didn't want shit. I'll always watch St. Max. I love St. Maximin as a player. He's someone I've followed for as long as I've been a fan of Tottenham.
Romero made him scared.
He MIA. Same thing with Haaland. That's what I'm saying is exactly that. It's a mentality thing. You put it in the back of their mind. They're looking for you. And even if it's half a second, 2 seconds of a thought where they're thinking about you and not about the ball or their run or their line, you're already in their head. That's
it's old school, man. The first thing I was taught, through true grassroots football, my man, is if you're up against a really good player, first thing your manager says to you, hit him hard. Let him know he's in the game.
Early.
Let him know you're here. Let him know you're not going to let him fucking run all over you or let him have an easy day. It's the first thing you're told to do. And at the end of the day, we need a bit of that street mentality in the Tottenham squad. Look, barely anyone wants to come down our right-hand side. You've got the Smash Bros, Emerson and Romero. Absolutely smashing the living shit out of people down there. If we can replicate that down the left-hand side and through the middle of our defence, we're not going to be a nice team to play against. And that's what you want. You want teams that are like, or you put into players' minds where they walk into the game like, I'm going to get this shit kicked out of me here today. And if I score, I'm going to have to really earn it. That's what you want. We're too used to watching shit defenders over the last 2-3 years, backing off from the halfway line all the way into the 6-yard box. May as well put goalkeeper gloves on them. Watching players missing tackles, running off players and leaving true balls go through to them like Dyer did with Callum Wilson this season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to get used to having these, horrible defenders, mean, nasty guys to play against. There was a guy when I was 15 breaking into my local senior team, man. We used to come up against, there was a guy called KANE, right? Just old school, low socks, black boots, nothing fancy about him. He used to come down in a normal t-shirt, running shorts. But my God, right, I used to be good. So I used to be brilliant on the ball, running. Every time the lad got the chance, coming up behind me, putting the heels down the back of my Achilles. I'm like, man, it's fucking training. It's a Tuesday night. What are you doing? He's like, look, I've got to train the same way every week. But he goes, you're not running as much now, are you? My job's done. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's the art of defending. Anyone that gives out about the red card does not understand the art of defending. Whole idea of defending is doing it with all your might. Putting everything into it, putting your bollocks on the line, getting in front of shots, last-ditch tackles if you need to, taking a red card if you need to. That's the art of defending. Defending isn't supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be back to the wall, keeping goals out your box. That's not a nice thing to do.
I love it. That's exactly what you want in a defender. I'm speaking from a goalkeeper's perspective because that's the position I played. I hated watching Dyer in this new age of defending where it's arms behind your back, let them come at you. Only let them come at you if you're competent. If you're not good, go out there, like you said, put it all on the line because quite frankly, I think Romero's got it. I think he's 2 seasons away from being deemed world class if he continues to progress just from the little amount that he's been here. You're already dubbing him world class?
Oh, I dubbed him world class 2 years ago, Jacob, but when we signed him, I remember I was on TV. Listen to this for a prediction. Mike makes a good prediction with his Harry Kane goal tally. Listen to this one. I was on Tottenham TV just after we signed Romero, and I said, I like this guy. I like what he's about. And I think he's better at his age than what Virgil van Dijk was at that age. And this guy will go on to become world class, and he'll be easily our best defender. And guess what? Everyone said to me, Dave, you're deluded. You're just hyping up a player. How can you say that? It's like, sometimes you can just look at a player and just say, yeah, he's got everything about him to be world class. You don't have to sit there and wait for 20, 25 games. The problem is I'm not afraid to be wrong. No, I'm not afraid to put bold predictions out there. And sometimes you can just look at a player and just know he's got absolutely everything, all the tools in his locker to become that player. And once you have the mentality to go with it and the hunger and the desire to improve yourself every single day, well, then you're always going to go to the top. And that's what Romero's got it all. He's for me, he's already world class. He's brilliant on the ball. You can't press him. Good passing range. Loves to tackle. The only weakness you would say maybe in the air. But, what defender doesn't have a weakness?
I said he was world class before the World Cup, but now after he won the World Cup, it's kind of hard to say he's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, yeah, that's true too. But what I'll kind of edit my statement to is it's hard to say he's not world class after he just won the World Cup. Because it's like, okay, well, he just won the World Cup and he was Argentina's best defender, and he had a hell of a game in the World Cup final against the best attack in the world other than Argentina. Well, no, you could argue our fans has the best attack in the world.
Hey, and he just got a new World Cup tattoo too. That thing was sick as heck. That was nice. Before we talk about the bad news, I just want to kind of keep the good news rolling because we got to talk. I'm wearing the kit for a reason. The kit that I'm wearing right now, if you know, you know. But to me, I don't know if I want to say Romero's world class yet because I'm just like, is he world class right now? Like, yes, I believe he walks in to 90% of everyone's starting 11 in this league.
What does he have to do?
I don't know if that Sorry, I didn't hear you, Dave. What did you say?
What does he have to do in your eyes then to become world class?
Just won the World Cup.
I would say maybe just a little bit more. I would say like he's like a piece of steak that you're just like, damn, that piece of steak was so fucking good. It was soft. It was, the right temperature, and it was cooked to the perfect degree, and it was exquisite. It's just hasn't been enough for me yet. Romero's average at best. World. Oh no, I'm not even going to read that last part. They would actually deactivate our YouTube channel, Michael, if I read that last part. But that's what I'm saying is I think Romero, he's just like that piece of steak you had a bite of off of the grill, and they're like, just wait, it's coming, and you know what it's gonna be because it's so good that you've had the amount that you've had right now. I just need just a little bit more of it. Maybe the end of this
when he's
season,
when he's lifting the FA Cup, I'll ask you again.
when he's lifting the FA Cup and he just broke someone's ankles on a cruncher, picked up a yellow. Come on, Romero. I mean, I love it. I think he's the best of one of our best finishers since the prime Yan or prime Toby. So I'm really excited that we finally have someone back there who can actually play the position. I just wonder if maybe we're already, calling him world class because it's just like of course, if you're nice and shiny, you're going to stand out if you're in a rusty room. So it's like, I just try and temper myself a little bit because I'm very easily, I can be swooned. You can sweep me up off my feet and carry me home. So I want him to do that. He's been doing it just a little bit more. It's like Kulusevski and Bentancur. I need just some more before I start throwing any kind of major titles around. They've been excellent for me so far. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. So to answer your question, Dave, when you said what else does he need to do, just keep doing what you're doing, Playboy, because it's working and it's nice. But I just a little bit more for me.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair. I do think we are reluctant at Tottenham to call some of our players world class. I even hear arguments of people saying, "Oh, well, is Harry Kane really world class?" I mean, name me another striker in world football that score goals and set up goals and also spray a 50-yard ball like the guy does, holds off two players like the guy does. We're very reluctant at Tottenham that when we have a good player to sit there and acknowledge that he's a really good player, he is in the world class category.
Same with Sonny. You could say the same with, and I'll you know what? I'll be the first to admit too. And I think it was even live on a pod with Jacob when I was literally debating where I was like, do I admit, like, can I say it without, and I think I was just kind of afraid of the backlash I would get if I really did say it, but I was like, Son's world class, man. Like, we got to say it, you know what I mean? It's the same thing that you're saying too, David. Like, sometimes you got to eliminate the Tottenham bias that we sometimes have with our own players, you know what I mean? Like, and we sometimes take for granted just because we see him play week in, week out. Harry Kane is world class. I mean, but just for me, because he's my favorite player of all time, like favorite Tottenham player ever. I have always been one just to kind of like defend him because he gets so much hate along with Tottenham. To say I've always said he's world class, but yeah, I'm right there with you, David. Like, I get why some people are even debating it still because the Tottenham bias, right? That Tottenham like cover, if you will, that looms over players that play for this club, unfortunately. But you got to sit back and just look at the numbers, look at what they've done, especially just like emotional moments too. Sonny coming through for us so many times in the biggest of stages, Champions League, cup matches too. When Harry Kane is out, Harry Kane coming through time and time again, winning golden boots on his own, winning the golden boot for the World Cup as well. These players are world class, and sometimes you just got to sit back and you got to admit it. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, Mike. What do we have to do? Wait for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich to come and pick them up like they used to do with Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, players like that?
Yeah.
The reason why we don't call them world class is like, oh, well, I haven't gone on to take that step to that next club. And I'm like, I get that. That's what used to happen at Tottenham. We don't sell our best players anymore. We don't sell our world-class players anymore. So, we don't have to wait for them to move on to call them world-class. Sometimes you can look in the Tottenham jersey and say, he's got it. You look at Harry Kane. Every club around the world, if he was on the transfer market this summer because he refused to sign a new contract, every club's going to be looking at him. Absolutely every top club. Son the same. How many teams, you hear fans of rival teams, they all say, I want Son. I want Son. And for me, I don't have to sit there and wait until Real Madrid come in with 100 million and take a best player that I've grew to really like and love. Now I can sit there, I can enjoy them at Tottenham and appreciate them. We don't always have to wait till they move on to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona to deem that they're world class. We've got to get over that. Our days of selling our best players to them clubs are over.
No, Jacob, we were no, you're good, Jacob. We were just talking about how sometimes it's hard for people to admit that our players are world class. And David was basically just saying Because before we would sell our players to the biggest of clubs, and people would say, "Well, he hasn't moved on to the next step yet, or he hasn't moved to that next big club yet." When now it's not really the case. We have Harry Kane, we have Hyun Daddy, we have our best. We keep our best players. You know what I mean? We're not selling our best players off to the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas of the world, whatever it may be. People just need to start admitting that we do have players that are world class.
That's an interesting take too, because immediately while you were saying that, Michael, what I was thinking was, that's right. As of late, we kind of did hang on to him. Maybe you could say too long. Dele, maybe we hang on to him too long. Harry Winks, I remember City was in for him at one point for, I think, like 30. They were sniffing around him for 20 or 30. We should have done, but at the time he had just got his England cap and everything was looking cheerio for the Spurs Academy. So you're not going to sell him. And now it's like we're begging Sampdoria to take him full time. I know he's barely trained. He's barely gotten some. Now the Winks comps are coming out. Fuck you, Winks. If you're still watching this, fuck you, Harry Winks. Go like Pep Guardiola's fucking tweet some more. You fucking cunt. This guy makes me so mad. But like Dele Alli, you could argue he was world class or about to be right there nibbling at the door. And it's just unfortunate because that's like one of those you don't expect. And I would have not wanted him to be sold at his peak when he was popping and bussing. I'd have been pissed if you sold him. But you could have gotten 80 mil for him easy at the time, 60 to 80. And honestly, I'm trying. I don't want to be too reluctant to not call Romero world class. He's just so damn good. It's almost like, when you got that. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it.
Just say it, Jake. You're dying to say the world's world class and Romero.
World class.
I'm right there. I'm going to do what Michael said. When he's holding that FA Cup this year, then he's world class. Come on. Also, I want to see a goal. I think he's been sniffing around for a long time. He's due a goal. He wants a goal. He gets forward nice now. There's
what
a
do
few.
we think his celebration will be? I reckon headbutting the corner flag.
I don't know. What would it? That's a good question because honestly, I've never thought about it. I feel like he would do something for his kids because he just got the kid. He has a young child and he's always posting his babies on there. And I feel like he either that or he would just like kind of like a Hotspur celebration. It's not really a celebration. More, it's just like a yelling, just a guttural like fuck yeah, like that's the only thing I could think of. I hope he's got something nice, but he needs to score. Maybe once he gets a goal, I'll say he's world class. How about that? Give me one goal. As he says, world class is top 3 at your position for a minimum of 3 years. So
I disagree slightly. Look, I grew up in an era where I was blessed to watch, a good collection of players. I was actually only talking about it last night on the channel with Sal and Alex. When I was growing up watching football, you probably have 50, 60 players you could have put in contention for the Ballon d'Or for World Player of the Year. Now you're talking about 2 or 3. It's you don't have to be top 3 in your position. I do agree that you do have to probably do it over a long period of time consistently. I do agree with that, but I think I don't agree that you have to be.
Yeah, 3's kind of strict. That's strict. That's like best of world class. I feel like.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of top leagues in Europe. There's more than 3. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to say that. You can't say that a player's not world class because they're not top 3 at their position when there's a lot of fucking good players in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's another part of it too is the talent level is just consistently rising in every country in the world, America included. For me, world class is if you could walk into 80% or more. Like if you could walk into 80% of squads in the world, then you're world class. Because to me, that's a shit ton of clubs that you could just walk in and be Big Papi Chulo. You know what I mean? So for me, I guess that's how I'd rate it. Is because Romero, I'm like he'd probably get into about 70%. 60 to 70% in the world, he would get into their starting 11. And he's right there. That's just me. Me personally. But big up. That's a new name. I haven't seen you. While you're here, hit a like, hit a subscribe. We're on the way to 900. But big up yourself. Romero collects bones, not goals.
Yep.
I love Jack. You've been cracking me up. These comments, you've been cracking me up all evening. You're on fire. You are in form right now, Jack. So big. Headbutting the corner flag sounds like a really good prediction. He would definitely do that. David, I think you're on to something.
I might be onto something.
That'd be a good one to revisit. What if he scores versus Leicester? Is that a good segue into Leicester?
Well, Jacob, I think we need to bring up the unfortunate news first, and then we'll segue into Leicester. Shall we? Shall we just rip it off like a Band-Aid?
Yeah.
He's Bissouma getting surgery on a stress fracture in his left ankle. And look, man, this is the confusing part for me. And you mentioned it, Jacob. This was one of the first things that you told me when we found out the Bissouma news. Stellini had just said that everyone in the squad was healthy the day that it was announced.
The same day.
He said there's no new injuries. Everyone in the squad is healthy, and we even got Lucas Moura back. Later that day, Yves Bissouma out indefinitely, timetable to be announced after surgery. That was the weirdest part to me during the day, guys. And again, we talked about it again, Jacob. I feel like we talked about it every month, maybe every other month. The black hole has claimed another soul. That the black hole that is our medical department has claimed another soul on this squad. Yves Bissouma, come down and claim your prize. You have just been sucked in.
You're the latest victim of the black hole.
But seriously, man, another one. Just when we thought we were healthy. Another
one.
Player down.
It's quite sad to see for me personally on a personal level, not just because I don't necessarily even think he was going to start, because it's definitely, I mean, the shift Højbjerg put in, the shifts that Højbjerg continues to put in. Bentancur. He continues to impress. He continues to be calmer and calmer and more clinical and more of that general driving force front and backside. So I like to see that progress from him as well. So I don't necessarily think he's going to get the start. But damn, someone had to start versus Milan because Højbjerg can't. Højbjerg is suspended for Milan, as many people do know. So that for me was Bissouma's time to step in. It was his time to step in and show what he's got, because quite frankly, I've seen good, but just not really good sometimes. And to me, that's not enough.
If we're being honest, it's most times we have not seen good from Bissouma.
I think as of late, though, he was coming good. Like, he had just got out the physio room, he was coming good, and then, as you said, Big Balls Stellini was like, yeah, everyone's good, man. Everyone's chilling. We're all cool, bro. Just Hugo. Outside of Hugo, everyone's fine. And I was already hurting about Hugo. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's nice. You check Richarlison's story, and then you're going to see
in a boot.
You see him in a boot. What are we doing? How did he get hurt? When did he get hurt? On the way to the locker room, and Stellini was like, all right, everyone's good. I'm going to this press conference. And then he comes back, he's like, or did he just, how did he not say something?
You know what, though, boys? I think you got to look at it. Was it the North London Derby he missed, or was it their cup game he missed because he done his ankle in the warm-up, the cup game? And look, and then you look at it now, stress factor. I'm not sure he was fully recovered. I think we bought him back early, and I think, we're paying the price for that, if you want me to be honest.
It's interesting. And then shout out Ben Kaufman. I don't know if he's here. I haven't seen him check in the chat. But Ben Kaufman said once, he said a few times, like, maybe he's suffering from long-term COVID. I know he had it real bad when he went to when the team went to Korea. And then the West Ham game was his first real chance, and it didn't look nice. He didn't look good. So I don't know, man. I just feel like maybe it's the system. And then Conte even came out and said, oh, I don't think he's picking up the system as quickly or as well as we wanted, so that's why we haven't really seen him. And it's just not a lot of good signs. But to me, there's still a player there. He's a quality player. It just is a matter of getting him right, getting things right. But it fucking sucks because I wanted to see him. I love it when he comes on.
But look, there's no need to panic on someone like Yves Bissouma. Look, we got spoiled with Bentancur and Kulusevski last January. Both come in, hit the ground running straight away, and made a massive impact. But if you actually look at Conte's history with more attack-minded midfielders, now I know you can't put him in the bracket of an Eriksen or a Fabregas, but he is more attack-minded. He wants to break the lines more, get forward, affect the play, like he done at Brighton. And if you look at what Conte done with Fabregas when he walked into the Chelsea team, the guy didn't appear until about November, if not later than that, because the centre midfield role in Conte's system, because you've got the wing backs bombing forward, it's a very disciplined role. And he done the same when Christian Eriksen went to Inter Milan. How many Spurs fans were saying that January after Eriksen left? Oh, let's get him back in on loan. He's not playing there with Inter Milan. All of a sudden, he's in the team. He's scoring goals. So, Conte won't play them if they don't know the system or if they're not disciplined yet enough to play the system. There's no need to press the panic alarm button yet on Bissouma. He'll come good.
Thank you, Dave, because I was a little worried.
Thank you, Dave.
Also, I do get worried just because he's hurt and he's getting surgery. And anytime you hear players getting surgery, it's just, that's never nice. Stress fracture. The word fracture is not a good word. So I don't like it. I don't like it. And to me, there's a comment here, Sar versus Skip. Real quick, y'all want to run through that? I say Sar.
I think I'm saying Sar too. He's been a little bit more consistent. The last time Skip started, who was it against? Where he was just not good.
Cup game.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll
Preston.
look it
Preston.
up. Was it Preston?
Yeah, it was Preston. And he did just.
Bournemouth. Remember that game against Bournemouth? He was atrocious.
Yeah.
It was Portsmouth. Yeah, Portsmouth. He started for Portsmouth.
I think right now at this time, and it's kind of weird though because Sar has missed out on the 18 for some of these games recently. So it's like I don't know where Conte's head's at with Sar, but me personally, I'm taking Sar.
Yeah, look, for me, I don't even think it's a debate right now, to be honest with you. I think, look, Skip, I don't think you can ignore the praise that Jose and Poch gave him, calling him a future Tottenham captain. But the reality is that injury he got on the long layoff, it's come back and affected him, and he hasn't come back the same player. And in order for him to get back to the level of stat he was at when he first came into the team from that loan from Norwich, I think he needs another loan move. I really do. I believe that. And look, unfortunately for Skip, he's fallen down the pecking order. Sarr has come back. He's impressed in the minutes he's given. He's done more than what Skip has in the minutes he's been given this season. And, we brought in Bissouma. Bentancur and Højbjerg hit the ground running. Look, I like Skip. I think he's enthusiastic. He wants to get forward. But ultimately, that Bournemouth game, he was absolutely atrocious going forward. At Premier League level, he was found out in that game, in my opinion. I think, look, a lot of the hype around Skip came last season when we only had Winks and Højbjerg to pick from, and everyone was fed up with watching Harry Winks, And it's not exactly an indictment of a player, that you're judging it based off that. And for me, if I'm Ollie Skip, I would be looking for another loan move, and I think I'd give this guy one more year to see if he's as good as we first thought. Because we're being brutally honest, we wanted him back in because everyone was sick of fucking Winks.
So I was just looking at it. Ollie Skip started Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Then he started at Portsmouth. And then in versus Arsenal, Sar started. So I think in those two games, Conte was like, yeah, Sar is definitely better. And also the praises. I'm thinking about, you're right. I don't want to ignore the praises Pochettino and Mourinho. They all said Oliver Skip, he's going to be a future captain. He's a standout guy. He's a good guy, and he's a hard worker. I ain't heard Conte say that. Conte ain't said it once. Who he did say it about? A guy that we already sent out. Don't even get me fucking started on the sending Hill to Sevilla. But he said Hill and Sar, those are the two best trainers that they have. They train the hardest and the best. And that's why Spence wouldn't even get a sniff into the team. So, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Against AC Milan, right? Because Højbjerg's suspended.
Mm-hmm. Accumulation.
And for me, when you look at it, you brought up that he played the Palace game, Skip, and you're right, he did. Sarr also came off the bench.
And looked way better.
Skip was atrocious on the football. Every time the ball came near him, he was
Lost
losing.
it.
But when Sarr came on, he's getting on the ball, moving it right, going over, picking it up, moving back across, moving it left. But also some of the other appearances I've seen from Sarr, he's comfortable on the ball. He's cool as a cucumber. No problem to drag it back. Bring it forward. No problem to knock it by a player. He wants to get involved, and Skip wants to get involved. But unfortunately, from the technical ability I see between Sarr and Skip and how comfortable they've looked in their cameos this season, for me, I think Sarr looks far more comfortable against Skip. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sarr start against AC Milan. I think whoever comes off the bench tomorrow into that midfield, whether Sarr or Skip, that'll be the one that starts at AC Milan, because I think it'd be stupid for Tottenham not, even if it's for 10 minutes, not to bring one of them on who's starting with Bentancur.
Yeah.
Build up a little bit of rapport heading into the AC Milan game.
That would show the lack of foresight so awful. Like, it would make it look so bad if they don't do what you just said, David, because for me, it's got to be Sarr. When it comes down to it, Skip can be on the bench, but I just think, like you said, he's cool as a cucumber on that ball. He started the North London Derby. That's biggest game of the year, you could argue. So to me, that's showing a vote of confidence. And I know there was a lot of circumstances around, like, there's injuries and suspensions, etc. But man, I think there's a nice little player in Sarr. I'm really glad that we didn't loan him out. I think there's a nice little player there. Again, I just want to see some more of it. We're going to see it in Milan. We're going to San Siro first, right? So it's coming. And honestly, I definitely don't see, even if it was Skip or Sarr that's going to get that start, I don't see any of them getting the start this week.
No.
Against
you can't
Leicester.
drop Playback after the City performance. He was
No way. So that leads me into the question. Predicted starting 11. Michael, I haven't heard your beautiful voice in a minute. So who do you think gets the start? Obviously, and follow-up question. I'm going to edit this, actually. Who's going to be starting 11 and who's our captain?
KANE is captain.
Kane's captain.
Okay, well then I'm not going to
captain.
edit it. I feel like that's Kane's captain. I think everyone's going to say that.
captain. I'm going to say Forster. Perisic. Longley. Dyer. A lot of people have been saying they want Emerson to start right center back. I'm not about it. I'm going to go Sanchez.
I mean, it's interesting.
I want to say Porro. I want to say Porro first start, but for some reason I can't. So I'm going to say Emerson. And then Sarr and Bentancur. Or no, wait. Did we? No. Hojbjerg and Bentancur. Sorry, I don't know why I said Sarr. We were just talking about Sarr.
Yeah.
Hojbjerg and Bentancur. And then I'll go Son, Kane, and Kulusevski up top. What about you, David?
Look, Forster in goals for sure. I don't want to see it. I have a feeling you might see Heung tomorrow with Perisic being held back.
I was kind of thinking, but I don't want to say Sessegnon. I didn't want to.
I don't either. Believe me, I don't. I'm fed up with that guy. I've been on his case for 2 years solid now.
I'm off the train. I'm off the Sessegnon train. It's not a train. It's a bus.
I was holding on. Yeah, no, it's not a bus, bro. It's one of those electric
car,
scooters you can rent
smart
downtown.
Car? Oh, electric scooter.
You know how
Damn.
you know downtown, Michael.
yeah.
They got those little
Scooter?
scooters. You give it like $15, or you give it your credit card basically, and it charges you every hour that you have the thing, and it's like that. But you get real far away, and then it dies. So.
Centre backs, I think it'll be Davies, Langley, and I'd probably put Dyer at right-sided centre back, although I'm worried down that side. Actually, no, sorry. I'll go with Langley, Dyer, and Sanchez, actually, I think will come in. Really worried about Sanchez. Let's not forget this guy gave away a penalty inside 5 minutes at the reverse fixture. And, coming into the business end of the season, you can't afford to keep making them same mistakes, and he got absolutely roasted that game until we brought Bissouma off the bench, put a third man in midfield, and offered him more protection. So I'm very worried about Sanchez coming in. If you wanted to, and I know, look, I'm with Mike. I'm not a big fan of keep moving these players into unnatural positions. Keep doing that, Tottenham. Left wing to left wing back for Heung, left back to left side of centre back for Davies, centre midfield to centre back for Eric Dyer. I'm not a fan of it. If they're not good enough in their original positions, fuck them out the club. But, if you wanted, because I don't think you can drop Emerson after that Man City game. I think it'd be poor management if you did. And I think, it wouldn't give the guy the most confidence in the world either. So if you wanted a way of playing Porro and Emerson, you could move Emerson into right-sided centre-back and bring Porro in at right wing-back. But unfortunately, I think Emerson will start right wing-back, midfield, Bentancur, Højbjerg, forward line, Harry Kane, Kulu, son.
What about you, Jacob?
It's tough.
Any disagreements?
Yeah, I actually, Tyler said in a comment I just pulled up, this is actually kind of what I was initially
thinking. You
thinking.
think Emerson's going to start at right center back?
No. I'm going to say Emerson start at left wing back. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
Can't even cross the ball from the right, let alone on his left. That's exposing him, man. That's not fair. You can't do that after the game against City.
I'd rather stab my eyes out than watch that. He has
done it in between, like whenever we're in between substitutions of the wingback. He has played there, so it's not foreign. He hasn't not done it, or I haven't not seen him do it. And this is the only reason I'm going to say that is because Perisic, I believe as time goes on, he's becoming defensively a liability. Offensively, you could argue there's some value there. So Perisic, I'm fine with. Heung, I'm not fine with. Don't fucking let him start. Don't tell me because he's better defensively. No one tell me because he can do X, Y, or Z. The man can't do shit. The man ain't gonna do shit.
Better than who?
Cess.
You said people were saying he's better at something. What is he
defensively
better at?
In the argument of like Perisic or Heung?
He's not better at anything in any category, bro. He's been so bad this year
against Liverpool and City. This season he was put out there against Arsenal because he's better defensively. Saka ran him a new one. He already lost the game before we even got going because he decided to drop to his 6-yard box. Heung has completely lost it. I would actually ask you a question, boys. You got Romero over on the right hand side, right? It covers a lot of ground out there, very hard to get by. So you don't see the right wing backs exposed as much as you see the left wing backs exposed. Could that be because the guy that's playing left sided centre back isn't good enough?
Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But I get why you ask it, and the answer is yes. They are not good enough. Davies hasn't been good enough since 2018. And Longley was our third or fourth option after not signing Bastoni or Vardiol or Pau Torres, etc., etc.
Yeah.
These guys, we know come on, Dave. We know they're not good enough. We know they're not good enough.
I like Langley. I think he is better than Davies.
He's a good backup. He's a good backup. He's better than Davies as a backup. If we signed him as a backup left-sided center back, I wouldn't be mad about it. Yeah. But to start week in, week out, nah, man. It's gotta be better than that. It's gotta be better than that. And it's the same thing with the central center back position. Dyer hasn't been good enough since 2017, and that's when he was in the midfield. Yeah. It's sad that we keep answering the same questions over and over again, David, because I feel like we've asked this question probably 4 times over the last 4 years. It's usually in the summer. But
why is Ben Davies still on my
Why
team?
is he still here? Why is Dyer still here? It's the same answer every time, man. And it sucks that I think there was one year, it was last year, where we finally changed our answer with Dyer because he was actually good last year and he was consistent. But other than last year, it's the same thing over and over again. But Ben Davies, he never fails. It's the same thing over and over again with Ben Davies. Not good enough. Same thing with Sanchez over and over again. Outside of the end of last season, not good enough. Emerson, not good enough. Doughboy was not good enough. Glad we got rid of him. Sessegnon, definitely not good enough. Skip, you could argue this season, not good enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, rip. But Richarlison, not good enough so far.
Richarlison not good enough on the
Son,
left or
not
right.
good enough.
I'm not sold that Son.
There's just been a lot of players not good enough this season. And that's why I am cautiously a little bit more optimistic about the last part of this season, because if they do step up and we stay healthy, I think we have a chance to get top 4. I think we have a real chance, especially with Liverpool and Chelsea playing like shit. But the players that we constantly are saying are not good enough, like Davies and Dyer and Sanchez and Sessegnon, this summer has got to be a crude awakening for some of these guys. If not, I don't know what else to say, man. It's just been too long. It's been too long. Like 3 years ago, it was too long.
Yeah, I mean, I think
before the pandemic, it was too long.
I was gonna say, right?
That's a long time ago,
2019
boys.
season,
That's over 3 years ago.
Jose, when we sacked Jose, that was time to clean house, in my opinion. You could argue that we should have done it with Poch, but honestly, you bring in a serial winner in Jose, so I don't know. It's just when is it going to happen? Now, obviously, we can only get them out on loan, the ones that we could get out of here, and I think it's also a part of the reason why it just kind of trickled down the rest of our business. Because we weren't able to ship out some of these guys. And at the end of the day, it's like when you have 7 center backs, 7 people who could play center back, and you can only loan one of them out, well, it's like, how many can you really... You want to bring another one in? You got another one? They all can't play for the U21s, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's tough because I do want them out of here. I need them out of here. I feel like you can make an argument for keeping the likes of maybe a Sanchez just because he hasn't been here as long. But I go back to the same argument that I always with Davies and Dyer, and even Sanchez, and throw into this. But with Davies and Dyer, it's nearly 20 years of service. Who the fuck garners that kind of contract? Like, who's that good that you're like, give me 10 years of service? You know what I'm saying? There's not that many players that give you 10 years of good service. At some point, you got to cut the umbilical cord and let them go.
Spot on. Disagree with Sanchez, by the way, but I'm not going to go into it. I'm fed up to talk about that idiot.
It's just, if I'm going down the list of the first ones that I want to go, that need to go.
Sanchez isn't number 1, but he's top 5. Probably top 3 too.
He's top 3.
He's number 3.
I would say he's number 3.
Well, actually, now just because of how bad Sessegnon's been playing this year, I think Sessegnon's creeping into my top 3.
You know what?
Behind Dyer and Davies.
I think they're all even keel for me. I just want them all gone. Fed up with them. What have they done for Tottenham? They've embarrassed us in cup games that we should be winning, like Europa Conference League, our rounds in cups. Anytime they've stepped into the first 11, it's been a complete drop off in standards, in performances, in trying to keep the ball, trying to maneuver the ball. For me, I'm not even going to fucking get into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're all number 1. Fuck off. Your shit not good enough. Piss me off. Let the club down. Let the badge down. Let the fans down. Just get them gone. I don't care. I have no preference. I want them all gone. I want clear house. You're looking at Dyer and Davies particularly. I mean, last time I checked, when you give that service to a club, it's because you've been outstanding. It's because you've been world class. You look at like Harry Kane, Uber Eats, the service they've given compared to Eric Dyer and Davies. How have they been allowed to hang on for so long? Sessegnon here 4 years, tried loan spells, moving position, still shit. In fact, I'm just fed up with them.
He got signed. And Dave, the thing with Sessegnon is he got signed in a 4-back system, and when we brought in Conte, the first thing people said was he fits his system perfectly because he's more of a wing back than a left back. And then he played, like you said, Dave, played left wing out on loan with Hoffenheim, played a little bit of left wing back too, but he played wing at Hoffenheim, and everyone said that it was and you know what? I'll even throw myself in there. I'm pretty sure at one point, even I was like, oh, it maybe this will be the time that Sessegnon picks it up because this will be perfect for him. Maybe he's going to be our Victor Moses. I think I might have said that once or twice. But look, man, it's just proven time and time again that he's not good enough. And unfortunately, he's proved me wrong before. I'm sure he's proved Jacob wrong before too. He's proved a lot of people wrong, man. It's not good enough.
At the beginning of the season, I do remember what I said. I remember being like, well, at least he can learn from Perisic, and he's going to get just more let him grow into the formation and the formula of what he's got to do. And it's like I look back or I think about some of the shit that I said, and I'm like, damn, I was fucking stupid.
Tyler,
At least I've
Regulon
grown.
was just as bad. Tyler.
Regulon just as
was
bad. How many
awful.
sitters did
how
he
many
fucking
Yeah,
miss?
I was about to say how many times where he was
God.
through on goal or had a really good position and he fucked it. They're all not good enough. They're all not good
I
enough.
hope Udogie comes good. He looked good for Udinese, but I hope he comes good, honestly. I'm super excited about that player. Man, I guess to round off my 11, I think because I'm a little concerned about Perisic
Damn,
and
you
Emerson.
didn't finish your 11? All of that was within your 11?
We actually, because I was saying,
How did we even get into that? I even
because of the
forgot.
left
I
back.
forgot that
The
was
left-
even the original point of the conversation.
It's because
We got into how shit our squad players were.
yeah, but it's because
We were talking about him too much. That's it. We weren't talking about Harry Kane and Heung-min Son enough. We were talking
was
about
left-
shit
left
players
wing back.
too much.
Well, there's
We were
only
talking about Sessegnon.
that's the problem exactly. But see, the thing is, I started talking about putting Emerson out there at left wing back because fuck it.
That's right.
I want to see Porro. I'm tired of no Porro. I know where
I would love to see Porro, but I think Dave's right, man.
I think it's gonna be
after that
I-
performance. It's really, really hard to justify not starting him again.
I think it's gonna be
the same thing,
Perisic
like
and
man
Emerson,
management, squad
yeah.
management. Yeah, it would.
I
be
think
really
it's going to
hard
be
not to bench
Perisic and Emerson, unfortunately. Also because of the fact that we're away. If we were
Yeah.
home, maybe there'd be some more pull. Like, okay, the home fans and Daniel
Next
Levy's
week.
probably going to call. I need to sell some 23
Hey,
Pedro
West
Porro
Ham though.
jerseys.
West Ham though. Porro's got a really good chance of starting, unless Emerson puts up another worldy of a performance like he did against Man City. I think that West Ham game is Porro's first start. And it's at home, London derby. Who knows, man? And maybe that's where we'll kind of see his class. Hopefully. What's up, Tricky?
What's up, Tricky? Man. So yeah, to round out the, it's going to be my predicted, not my preferred 11. My predicted 11, I will just say it's going to be Perisic on the left wing, and it's going to be Emerson on the right. I think the three that we'll see will be probably Sanchez, Dyer, and Davies. I would rather see
I
Longley.
really don't want to see Davies, man. I'm so
You're gonna
tired
see
of watching
Davies.
Ben Davies play.
You're gonna see Davies because we had a clean sheet last versus the fucking champions, so they're gonna.
If I had a tip jar for how many
They're
times
definitely
I've
doing
said I'm tired of seeing Ben Davies play on this podcast, I would be rich right now.
That
I would be so rich.
You've literally said it since we were recording.
Since we first started, since we first
since
fucking
we
started
first-
this podcast, it's probably one of the first things I said on this podcast on the first episode is I don't know how much longer I can watch Ben Davies play.
I
For
think
my football
literally,
club.
you
And
literally,
it's,
I
been
quote,
4 years now. 3 years now.
No,
Jesus
I
Christ,
quote. This
man.
is what you said, Michael. You said, "If I have to watch Ben Davies play for Tottenham Hotspur again, I'm gonna gouge my eyes out with spoons."
Yeah, because forks would not do me justice. It would have to be with spoons.
Yeah.
It's more painful.
Anyway, that's my 11. I've kind of already touched on all the other positions. I agree with all the rest of, Kane, Son, Kulu, no doubt. I do think Danjuma might come off the bench in a similar. We like to do that with the Flying Dutchman at the King Power. So
I think if we're winning, he comes on. Kind of like in the FA Cup.
If we're losing,
If we're winning, he comes
yeah.
on to give Kane some rest, which is I loved it, guys. Well, I was so surprised Danjuma came on in the FA Cup. I thought for sure we were going to get another vintage Kane 90 minutes against a fucking bottom feeder team in a cup competition. I thought we were going to get it again, and we didn't. I was so happy that Kane actually got legs rested during a game. It was nice. I could get used to it. But if we're tied or if it's a close game and it's like the 85th minute, I don't know if Danjuma's coming on. I think we got to be winning by like 2 goals.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's like 3-1, 80th, 82nd, 81st, 82nd minute. Yeah. Bring them on. Bring them on. I hope Richarlison gets some game time, guys. Apparently now he's 100%.
So I'm getting some acupuncture in the thigh.
I would rather see him come on as a striker sub for Kane than Danjuma, but he's probably going to get subbed on sooner for either Kulusevski or Son, just because that's always how it goes. But I want to see him play in the middle, man. These are the times where we've been begging for a class striker to back up Kane. When he's not in, Richarlison. You know what I mean? Like that was the expectation, and so far it's like, all right, right wing, Richarlison or Kulusevski. So I hope we get to see some of the middle action Richarlison that we got a taste of in that World Cup.
Do you know what, Mike? You're singing off my hymn sheet, my man. I've been saying the exact same thing. For me, when we signed him, I said this guy has to play up front. He's not a creator. He's not a player that'll beat your man. We've seen that whether he's played left or right. It's a heavy touch, or he loses the ball. He can't hold it up. What he is good at is what he done against Marseille. Put him in the box, put balls in there, let him go and attack them. It's what he done at Everton, and that's what I want to see from Richie. Straight down the middle. You're spot on, Mikey.
It's just tough when Kane plays so much. You know what I mean? Like, when is he going to get that up?
He wants to win that Golden Boot.
Richarlison has been injured.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But think about this. He's looking up at Erling Haaland having a couple games with no goals. He's got to be thinking, I might be able to catch him in that Golden Boot.
He can. There's a lot of season left, and I think I was starting to get into my own head. I think just because Arsenal's been top of the league for so long, and I've just been so pissy about it because that's just like my all-time hated sports amongst all sports teams across the board. But there's still a lot of season left, and I think I need to keep reminding myself that. That's what people always tell me when I start to get upset and I start to bitch and moan about Arsenal being top of the league. Everyone reminds me that there's 18, 17 games left in the season for a lot of these teams, and there's time. It can be done.
I think from this period to the end of the season, last season, across all competitions, I think Harry Kane grabbed 16 goals and 7 assists. So if that's to what to go by from last season, there's good potential there that he could. I think he'd have his sights on Haaland. I think Kane believes he's good enough to be able to catch him. Haaland hasn't scored in a couple. Kane scores a couple tomorrow. I think 18 and 15 games against Leicester, he's got 18 goals. So I think you fancy bagging a couple tomorrow, to be honest.
Well, David, I think that leads perfectly into our segue into our next topic. You want to lead us off with the skull predictions, my friend? Score predictions.
Score
like
predictions.
Goal and score. At the same time.
Scoliosis predictions and your goal.
I'm not a Vikings fan, by the way. No skull.
No skull. Hit that like while you're at it, and then put your score prediction, goal scores in the chat. I'll read them out before we end. But David, kick us off if you don't mind.
I'll be honest. I think the fact that Sanchez comes in tomorrow really scares me. I do think there's a mistake waiting to happen for the guy.
Come on, man. We watch Eric Dyer week in, week out. You got to be nervous every week for a mistake.
Yeah. Look, especially if he plays beside Dyer, actually. That's given. Probably won't sleep tonight now, Mike. Look, I'm going to go with a 3-2. I think same scoreline that happened last year at the King Power. I'm going to go Kane with 2, Son with 1. And I predict Son will score a screamer. Because if you look at Ward, he's struggling in goals. He's conceding a lot of goals from outside the box. Sonny came off the bench, scored a hat-trick. I think 2 of them outside the box. So I'm going to go Kane with 2, Son with 1, Tottenham to win 3-2. I'm worried about the back line. There's a lot of changes there. You're like Romero gone, Lloris. I know Jack has his problems with Lloris. I have too. But look, they're your captain, huge players to be missing out of that back line. So I do think we'll probably concede tomorrow.
All right. David, if my score prediction or just my goal prediction comes true, we need to have you on next week so I can see it in your eyes and you look at me in your eyes and tell me that Harry Kane is our all-time leading goal scorer.
Yeah.
Tottenham 4, Leicester 1, Harry Kane with a hat-trick. David, you're going to look at me, my friend, next week, and you're going to tell me that Harry Kane is our all-time leading goal scorer. 4-1, Kane with 3, Son with 1. And then Leicester, I'm going to say Maddison scores 1.
Come on.
What about you, Jacob?
I love that because if your prediction comes true, we get David again.
Look, lads, I'm more than happy to come whenever you need me. Look, I know I've been a bit bad at it recently, but look, as I'm sure you've seen, I've been going through some hard times and stuff like that. But look, the big man's back. You can't keep him down for long. Whenever you need me, give me a shout.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back, even if it's just a picture of your eyes, David. We're gonna need something
so I can look at them when I'm
or like a little. Just send
Harry
us a video.
Kane is really now our all-time leading.
You never know what's going on a week from now. But if you could just if it does happen, because my prediction is the same score, just different goal scores. I think it's going to be Did you said 4-1, Michael?
4-1.
I'm
I don't
saying
think we keep a clean sheet. I want, as much as I wanted to say clean sheet on Forster's first game in for Lloris after his injury. Look at who we have in the back, man. There's no way we don't concede one.
Yeah.
At least one. I could even see 4-2, but I'm going to say 4-1 because I'm feeling a little bit generous today.
that's actually what I was going to say was 4-2 because I think that they're going to want to get things right. They're looking like really, really
Leicester
bad.
have been rough these past few games, guys. And if you look at their schedule, it is only getting harder. It is us, then City, then Arsenal. That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck for
Hopefully
them.
they
but
get at least
also
3 out of these next 9 in the
Sucks to
last
suck.
game. But yeah,
Sucks to suck is how I feel about
sucks
it.
to suck.
Also sucks when your star man, your leading striker dude is also like a racist guy. So like, whatever. I don't feel bad for you. I do think Harry Kane and Heung Daddy both love scoring, but I'm going to say 4-2. I do think either James Madison's probably going to get 1 or 2. He loves a goal against us, it appears. So I definitely do see us conceding, David. So I do agree. Sanchez is going to be a liability. Dyer's always a liability. Whether it's Longley or Davies, one of them, they're both going to have a liability in them, a dangerous moment that they're going to give up for sure. So I don't have too much faith in keeping the clean sheet. Also, you got to keep in mind, different captain, different goalkeeper. It's not just we're losing Romero. So there's a lot of extrapolating circumstances that are really definitely going to make us concede. I could definitely see us going down 2-0 and then doing basically a City, what City did to us, scoring 4 in the second half, and that coming from Harry Kane. I think he's going to get 2 just so we can get David a smiling picture of David on the stream. And then I think Son will get 1, and I know Kulu's hungry. But I think it's going to be, I like a mystery card goal. I like a little mystery goal, It's either going to be like a Kulu, probably Højbjerg, Bentancur. One of them. Maybe that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think we're going to give it to him good, though. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change that. I think Højbjerg... sorry, I just dropped my phone. I think Højbjerg is going to score first for us. That's who I think he's going to get us rolling, because for some reason, when we go down, it takes a Højbjerg goal to get our team going. And I think that'll be I think that's what's going to happen. So 4-2, Kane 2, Højbjerg 1, Son 1, because I think Son's going to see his dribbling. He's more confident. If you look back at that City game, this is a team that he definitely scores against. He knows it. City knows it. Everyone knows it. He played confident. If he can carry that over, because we're playing, again, another team that he can score against, that he knows he literally just got a hattie on him in 13 minutes. 14 minutes, under 14 minutes, I think it was. So there's no stopping the man. That's my prediction.
Hell yeah. Jacob, any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
I want to say my final thoughts are I am thankful. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the life that I get to live. I'm thankful for all the people who've been subscribing to the channel from the beginning, and all the new subscribers as well. Michael, I'm thankful you're able to make it. David, I'm thankful you were able to make it as well. I'm just thankful. And we got Tottenham Hotspur football tomorrow. I mean, what more do you want on a weekend? To start your weekend morning off, Tottenham in the morning. So that's always a good time. That's my final thought. I'm just thankful for all that.
What about you, David? Final thought today before we sign off?
Yeah, look, I know this season has been up and down and probably in a bit of turmoil, but at some stage you can't keep carrying that with you. At some stage you've got to dust it down and focus on what's coming up and what's ahead. Look, we play 7 at bottom 8 of the Premier League over the next 9 fixtures. Let's look after the end games. Let's take care of them, and let's see where it can bring us. And hopefully start bringing a bit of positivity around this club. I want to say a massive thank you to you boys for having me. And anyone that's come over from the Irish Hotspur that hasn't subscribed, smash that subscribe button. The Irish Hotspur endorses United Spurs of America. So everybody smash that subscribe button. 2 really nice guys. And I've enjoyed myself this evening, boys. So thanks for having me, lads.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for coming on, man. For sure.
Anytime you come on, it's always a pleasure, David. You know that. Michael, you got any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, man. Final thought: Harry Kane, Big Daddy, best striker of our in our club's history. Now officially, just super thankful that we get to watch him week in and week out. it's athletes like that where you kind of take for granted sometimes just because you watch them so much, but you just got to sit back every so often and just admire what we truly are witnessing. And hey, now every single goal now that he scores will be history, because now it'll be the new record and the new record and the new record to beat here at Tottenham Hotspur. So just thankful for Harry Kane. Thankful I get to watch Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow morning, and hopefully it'll be a win away at Leicester. But until then,
it definitely will be. Real quick, let's run through. I want to just real quick.
Well, I was gonna say, but until then, all I can say is, come on, you Spurs, and hope for the best.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut. It's just you sometimes you often will sign out the show. You'll be like, until then, you can catch us here next week, and then you do that.
No, you're good.
I was like, hold on, real quick. The score predictions that everyone threw in real quick here. Mile High Hotspur 3-0. Goal scorers Kane, Son, and Kulu. I love it. Aaron Dubb 1-3. Madison scores first. Kane equalizes, Kulu equalizes, and Kane gets a tutu brace. Okay, I like that. Ellie says, my score prediction is 2-4. I'm hoping that's 4 for Tottenham and 2 for Leicester, which would be the same as mine. Costin 1-3, Kane, Son, and Decky goals. Big up Costin. You ain't chatted once all chat, but you chatted right at the nice moment. Give us your score prediction. Kane, Son, Decky goals. I love it. 3-1. He sees us not keeping the clean sheet either, so big up Costin. Thank you for that. Adrian Stroka, been here. He's always here from the beginning, and he's always here the entire show. So big up yourself, Adrian. Says, my score prediction, Leicester 1, Spurs 5, Kane hat-trick. Come on, you Spurs. Fucking Kane hat-trick. Don't get me started. We're signing this stream off. I'm not trying to keep going, but Kane hat-trick. Mike, you said it. You're not the only one saying it. Kane hat-trick, undisputed at that point. No one can take the man's belt after a hat-trick. So come on, Kane, give us the hat-trick. Big up everybody, but yeah, man, I think we're gonna do it. I think Kane's gonna at least get 2 for sure.
So.
Big up Ellie as well. Big up the Patreon members. Make sure you do hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Also, I'm assuming you've also liked and subscribed to the Irish Hotspur. If you have not, it is in the title. It is in the description. So you can find David and Jack Kanicki over there pretty much every day with new content. So definitely want to go check them out over there if you haven't already. What the hell is he doing? Please hit that like and subscribe on the way out. Michael, you got anything else for me?
That is all, my friend. That is all. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. You didn't even... You got to alley-oop me, Mike. You always...
Oh, shit. You're right. Until tomorrow when we play Leicester City, if you're going, be loud, be proud. We're watching on the telly across the pond. And as always, up the lads. And Jacob?
Come on, you Spurs. Coys.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.